Hey guys, Mr. BXRP, and welcome back. Appreciate you joining me on this New Year's Eve. First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to look at the market, do a little market update. So it looks like Bitcoin is sitting at 73.52, Ethereum's at 132, and XRP is at 19 cents still. But we will see. New Year's coming, and we're going to see what's going to change. First thing I want to talk about was a couple of things I saw on Twitter, and this first one was from Ian Northing, and Ian said, Warren knows. And this was in response to a tweet that Warren Buffett has $128 billion in cash sitting on the sidelines, and the question is, what is he preparing to do with it? And we all know what he's preparing to do with it. He's preparing to stomp on the market when the market comes down and buy up the bargains, which in the conventional investing world hasn't happened yet, but certainly has happened in the digital asset world, which is what we're doing right now. And the second tweet I want to show you, this was from Leonidas, and Leonidas, he runs the XRP arcade, and he aggregates the greatest information, pulls together all of the stuff about XRP, who our partners are, where you get logos, who the YouTubers are, just everything about XRP you can find on XRP Arcade, and Leo's looking for some support. Listen, help him if you can. He also has a Patreon page. Help him if you can. But I will say this, that the type of work that Leo is doing, I honestly think that Spring should be helping support him, because he's providing a valuable service for educational purposes for XRP. And if there's one thing that Spring's doing is, they're more of the consumer use case of XRP, and I just think it's a perfect marriage. So I hope they step up and help Leo out, and I think they're the right fit for them. And I hope that Ethan Beard hears this video or knows that Leo and what he's doing is the type of person that they need to be supporting. So that's my opinion on that. And Leo's a great guy. I've met him. He's a good man and works really, really hard. This next tweet is from Stephen Bull from the DF, and he's at DF SANH, and it says SBI is launching what could make it the fourth largest Japanese mega bank with a long-standing strategy into blockchain technology. SBI owns 60% share of SBI Ripple Asia. So essentially what he's saying is, SBI is a monster. I mean, we know they're a monster. As far as I know, they're made up of 50 or 60 different banks in Japan, and their figurehead is Yoshitaka Kitao, which we all know he owns, I think, an 11% stake in Ripple. So SBI is constantly growing and constantly doing amazing things, and a lot of people in the XRP community think that they're going to have a big role in the future of XRP and the adoption of XRP, and I'm excited to see some reporting from SBI and some corridors fly open over there in Japan, so that we can see some crazy activity. The next one I have is from Ganesh Hermoth, and he's at Ganesh Hermoth, at Ganesh Hermoth on Twitter. It says China, Hong Kong, and Thailand set to roll out sovereign virtual tokens as a means of payment and to better monitor money flows. They are all planning to partner with commercial banks in rolling out their digital tokens. Guys, all of these countries are coming out with digital tokens. We are going digital. And what you have to remember is the United States doesn't want the China token. China doesn't want the United States token. Japan doesn't want the China token. These countries, none of them are going to want each other's digital currencies. They're going to have to send them back and forth to each other. And we know the perfect bridge asset to get this job done. They are literally, I always say this, everyone will get caught in the Ripple net. At the end of the day, they're all going to use, in my opinion, XRP to send their digital assets to each other. This one from XRP Crypto Wolf at XRP Crypto Wolf on Twitter. China Securities Regulatory Commission received an application for listing an ETF. that will have blockchain-related stocks as underlying assets, and it was accepted by the China Security Regulatory Commission on December 24th. It will be China's first blockchain ETF. China's getting in the game, guys. They are absolutely getting in the game, and we have also heard that China has digital asset regulations that are supposed to be launched on January 1st of 2020. Now, I have looked at these regulations. I can't make heads or tails of what they are and how they're going to work, but it will be very, very interesting. There are 1.4 billion people in China, and if we could just get 0.5% of those people to invest in XRP, we can eat up a lot of the circulating supply. I can tell you that right now. So I hope that the Chinese people come on board. I hope they invest. I hope they buy a bunch of XRP, and that would be a good thing. Moving on to Fiat Leak. Fiat Leak did a tweet, and they're at Fiat Leak on Twitter, and they said, "Thank you. FiatLeak.com is lit up with fresh exchanges and currencies you've suggested, and we want to thank you. Just like, retweet, and follow Fiat Leak and leave a comment about your favorite coin by December 30th of 2019 for a shot to win $500. So if you want to try and win $500 from Fiat Leak, go ahead and do that. This is just such a fun site to watch. If I had a spare monitor in my office, I would just let this run 24/7 because it just looks amazing. I absolutely love it. And the last tweet I wanted to showcase was from December 26th, and it's from Great Gatsby, who's at Bamboo XRP. And I think this is the perfect day to read this tweet. He says, "Digital assets 2020 will be talked about for years to come. You will be at a party a few years down the road, and you will hear someone say, 'Yeah, he made his money in the 2020 boom of digital assets.' This is hype, and I'm out of juice boxes, so deal with it like a grown-up." I agree with the Great Gatsby. I think 2020 is the year. I think that the table has been set, and I think it's about to happen. I am going to go to, actually, let me see if I could jump to these other bookmarks I have, because I wanted to bring up two other bookmarks. There was a tweet by Han Solo, and and I'm going to talk about two tweets of predictions that didn't happen by very important people attached to XRP. One is Yoshitaka Kitao. Yoshitaka Kitao said top 20 global banks will be using XRP by 2019. It didn't happen. The top 20 global banks are not using XRP by the end of 2019. And I'm pointing that out, and I'm going to point out another bookmark that I did, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. This one's from Crypto Wolf, and this was back in June of 2018. Brad Garlinghouse said, "By the end of this year, I have every confidence that major banks will use XRP as a liquidity tool this calendar year. By the end of next year, meaning 2019, I certainly hope that we will see in the order of magnitude dozens." So this is where Brad was calling for dozens of banks using XRP. Well, we don't have dozens of banks using XRP and ODL right now. It hasn't happened. So my point is this. These two gentlemen, Yoshitaka Kitao and Brad Garlinghouse, nobody is on the inside track more than they are, okay? They expected these things to happen in 2019, and they didn't. And these aren't some frivolous predictions. They made these predictions based on the information that they have and the associations they have and the customers they have waiting to use ODL. The bottom line is this. It's obvious why these things didn't happen. It's regulation. Regulation is everything, folks. And the regulation didn't drop. What the regulations they needed to drop didn't drop. So that's the problem here. It's regulation. And until we get that regulation, it's not going to happen. Now, we're hearing regulation is coming, and I believe it's finally going to show up in 2020. So here's my point. It's based on what Yoshitaka Kitao said and based on what Brad Garlinghouse said. Just know that the moment regulation happens, these things are going to drop in a second. These corridors are going to slam open, and this is going to happen. This is going to go down, and we are waiting on regulation. I mean, you could tell all this year the frustration Every time Brad talked about regulation, he was completely frustrated. So let's keep an eye on that, and let's move into 2020 is just hours away, and let's talk about 2020 and goals. Ripple has a singular goal, and their goal is to make the movement of money around the world as easy as moving information. And what they mean by that is as easy as sending an email. Okay, that's the goal of Ripple. And I encourage everyone to make your 2020 goals a reality. You can't just hope them into existence, but you can make them real. Here's the truth, guys. You're either part of your own plan or part of someone else's plan, and I can tell you that their plan sucks for you. Sit down in a quiet area today and make a list of your 2020 goals. Do 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 6-month, and 1-year goals. Make a strategic plan for each goal and how you intend to reach it. There is something magical about writing goals down. It literally sets them in motion. I promise you guys, I've been doing this my whole life. This works. You need to do this. I challenge everyone listening to the sound of my voice to write down a list of at least 10 goals for the new year and watch your life change. And the big goals, just break them down into small, manageable tasks. There's only one way to eat an elephant, and it's one bite at a time. If you want to lose weight, set a weight and set a date and tell everyone you know about that goal so they will hold you accountable. And then every day that you're working toward that goal, just know that you're never going to have them look at you and say that you failed. Use that as a motivation. You know, in life, one of the greatest motivators is who's waiting for you to fail. And that can motivate you a lot. So tell the world what you intend to do and go do it. And I strongly suggest you do a written, detailed cash out plan of your digital assets, as I believe without one, your chances of winning are greatly reduced. And for those who think writing goals down and having a plan to achieve them doesn't work, what if I told you that starting today, Ripple's no longer going to write down their goals, have strategic meetings, make plans, and they've just decided to wing it next year? You wouldn't feel so confident, would you? So listen, make a plan and set it in motion. So my question of the day for you is, will you be doing written goals for the new year, and why? And if you're not, why not? I want to know who's making goals and who's not, and why would you and why would you not? And I think that's important. Also, anyone that's interested in our Patreon group, please click the link in the description below. We have a killer group of people, non-toxic environment, everyone's sharing information, news, just like on Twitter, but it's a very friendly environment. And we've got some really cool perks coming online in the new year, along with some perks that we already have today. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I welcome you to do that. And listen, guys, you need to look at the new year like this. If it's meant to be, it's up to me, and you got to make it happen. So I wish everyone a very, very, very happy, healthy, and safe new year. Be safe out there if you're going out partying. Remember, it's amateur night, so a lot of the people out there don't know what they're doing and might be driving, so be careful. And I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a happy new year. And 2020 is the greatest year in digital assets ever. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I don't have the voice of Kevin Cage, and I'm not a crypto expert. These are my opinions only. Don't make any financial decisions based on anything I say. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Please like and subscribe and hit the notifications button and share with anybody who you think might do the same. I thank you all, and Happy New Year.